Hello, welcome to Examining Fictional Heroes. This is Season 1, Episode 9, Part 2. We're going to continue talking about exhaustion from last week. Last week we covered the effects of exhaustion from a long grind. Today we're going to read about the effects of exhaustion from brief and excessive effort, and mental fatigue. My first example will come from this book, The Iron Man by Robert E. Howard. This one includes The Adventures of Dennis Dorgan. These are a collection of boxing stories. The story I'm reading from is called The Iron Man. The fans thundered acclaim as Maloney rushed out for the second. But he had sensed something they had not. He had hit this man with everything he possessed and had failed to even floor him. So he tore in like a wild man and again drove Brennan about the ring before a torrent of left and right hooks that sounded like the kicks of a mule. Brennan, eyes nearly closed, lips pulped, nose broken, showed no sign of distress until the latter part of the round, when Maloney landed repeatedly to the jaw with his maul-like right. Then Mike's knees trembled momentarily, but he straightened and cut his foe's cheek with a glancing right. At the gong, the crowd began to realize what was going on. The timbre of their yells changed. They began to inquire at the top of their voices if Maloney was losing his famed punch, or if Brennan was made of solid iron. Ganlon, wiping Brennan's gory features and offering the smelling salts, which he pushed away, said swiftly. Maloney's legs trembled as he went back to his corner. He looked back over his shoulder like he couldn't believe it when he saw you walk to your corner without a quiver. He knows he ain't lost his punch. He knows you're the first man ever stood up to him wide open. He knows you've been through a tough grind and ain't even sagging. You got his goat. Now go get him. The gong sounded. Maloney came in, the light of desperation in his eyes, to redeem his slipping fame as a knocker out. His blows were like a rain of sledgehammers, and before that rain, Mike Brennan went down. The referee began counting. Maloney reeled back against the ropes, breath coming in great gasps, completely fought out. He'll get up, said Ganlon calmly. Brennan was half crouching on his knees, dazed, not hurt. I saw his lips move, and I read their motion. More fights, more money. He bounded erect. Maloney's whole body sagged. Brennan's rising took more morale out of Jack than any sort of a blow would have done. Mike, sensing the mental condition and physical weariness of Maloney, tore in like a tiger. Left, right, he missed, shaking off Maloney's weakening blows as if they had been slaps from a girl. At last he landed. A wide left hook to the head. Maloney tottered, and a wild overhand right crashed under his cheekbone, dashing him to his knees. At 9, he staggered up, but another right that a blind man in good condition could have ducked dropped him again. The referee hesitated, then raised Mike's hand, beckoning to Maloney's seconds. As Maloney, aided by his handlers, reeled to his corner on buckling legs, I noted the ironical fact. The winner was a gory, battered wreck, while the loser had only a single cut on his cheek. So Maloney fought himself out against an Iron Man, someone who, in ring parlance, couldn't be knocked out. That was their particular claim to fame. Next, I'm going to go into mental fatigue. I'm going to take quotes from two different stories from this King Cole by Robert E. Howard. The first is the beginning of the story, The Mirrors of Tuzan Thune. And I will say that this is some of the most beautiful writing I've ever come across. And the entire story is written in the same manner, put together very well. There comes, even to kings, the time of great weariness. Then the gold of the throne is brass. The silk of the palace becomes drab. The gems and the diadems sparkle drearily like the ice of the white seas. The speech of men is as the empty rattle of a jester's bell, and the feel comes of things unreal. Even the sun is copper in the sky, and the breath of the green ocean is no longer fresh. Cole sat upon the throne of Volusia, and the hour of weariness was upon him. I'm sorry, y'all. They moved before him in an endless, meaningless panorama. Men, women, priests, events and shadows of events. Things seen and things to be attained. But like shadows that came and went, leaving no trace upon his consciousness, save that of a great mental fatigue. Yet Cole was not tired. There was a longing in him for things beyond himself and beyond the Volusian court. An unrest stirred in him, and strange, luminous dreams roamed his soul. That's excessive mental burnout. My second example comes from By This Axe I Rule. Rule, said the king, this matter of statecraft wearies me as all the fighting I have done never did. A part of the game, Cole, answered Brule. You are king. You must play the part. And later, now another man wished his attention, reminding Cole that a king's time was never his own. And I know as men we feel that way a great deal. Something is always drawing on our time and calling for our attention. Exhaustion can also cause you to lose your focus, sometimes in a critical moment. For that, I have an excerpt from The Sowers of the Thunder. This story is called Lord of Samarkand. Into a swirl of battle Donald strode, swinging his heavy blade. He thought fleetingly of Zuleika, as men in the madness of battle will think of irrelevant things. And it was as if the thought of her had hurt him fiercely under the heart. But it was a spear that had girded through his mail. So Donald lost focus at a critical moment due to exhaustion. Finally, I'm going to read an excerpt from one of my favorites, Bendigo Shafter, by Louis L'Amour. If worst comes to worst, we'll just dig a hole in the snow and sit it out. A man can wait out a storm if he doesn't exhaust himself first. Guys, that's the secret we have to learn. We will always have something that has to be done, and we'll always have a backlog of things that need to be done. But exhausting ourselves doing it is counterproductive. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.